Good morning and happy Saturday. So I mentioned this yesterday and we haven't gone over it in a long time, so I thought it'd be a great time to do it. Saturday, you're organizing, working on things more specifically, taking a little time for yourself. So remember that when it comes to achieving results, there's three people in the world. There's the dabbler, there's the stressor, and then there's the master. So this is a good one that I should have a whiteboard. So imagine I'm kind of drawing. So when you start a new project, idea, discipline, whatever, when you first start, your increased rate of excellence at that goes up incredibly quickly. So let's say you're going to start playing tennis or skiing. When you first start, you do really well really quickly. The dabbler enjoys that ride of doing really well really quickly, but it isn't long and you hit a plateau where you go up and then you level off. And you actually level off and actually decrease a little bit. Whenever you hit a plateau, you actually go down a little bit before you go back up. So the dabbler is the person that rides that initial ride and then quits. As soon as they hit the plateau, they quit, and then they go off to the next thing. So they're always starting something new. I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to golf, then I'm going to play tennis, then I'm going to ski, then I'm going to do woodworking, then I'm going to, it's always the next thing. Going to do this, going to do this, going to do this, going to do this. Then there's the stressor, and a lot of achievers are the stressor. So the stressor goes up, hits the plateau, and they will eventually figure out how to break through the plateau, but they do it through massive amounts of action that they don't necessarily have to. They keep doing the same thing again and again and again, and they drive and they drive and they drive and they drive and they drive. And eventually something happens that they try something different and they break through. Somehow it happens, but they do it at a tremendous expense. A great number of achievers are achievers simply because of the amount of activity that they've done. So like the guy that was good in college at meeting girls in the bar, most of the time that guy was willing to get turned down 1,000 more times. I mean, look at Walt Disney, 302 bags. Now, that is awesome to have that drive, but the master finds a way to save time. So the idea is to push decades into days. Now, if you're Walt Disney and you're trying to get a bank to do Disneyland, there's no way to save time doing that because you're paving a brand new way. So you have to be the one that figures it out. You just need to remember to continue to change your approach. Stressors don't always remember to change their approach. And a lot of times they get wrapped up in, a stressor might be the person that talks to you about how many hours they work. They don't talk to you about how productive they are. They don't talk to you necessarily about the outcome. They talk to you about, I'm at work 18 hours a day. Okay, well, that's great, but are you actually doing anything? Now, they also might talk about the list. I do a lot with my list. Well, also great, assuming the things that you're checking off of your list are actually getting you closer to your goals. If they're not getting you closer to your goals, then you're just checking things off of a list just because you want to. So the stressor a lot of times achieves their result, but they do it at a cost. And they do it, a lot of times they sacrifice their health for money. And then at the end of their life, they have to spend their money in order to get their health back. So you want the drive of the stressor, but you want to try to achieve your result more elegantly if possible. And the master is where you want to be. So the master rides the wave, hits the plateau, and doesn't get upset that they hit the plateau. They know that the plateau is coming. You're always going to hit a plateau. That's part of life. And they know that you're probably going to go backwards a little bit. Also part of life. When that happens, they look for a mentor. They look for a role model to get them to the next thing. So instead of just continuing to slam against the wall until they find their result, the master goes out and says, okay, who's achieved this result, or who's achieved similar results, or who's done something along these lines that I can find as a role model or a coach or a mentor, and then they find a way to get near that person, and then that person helps take them to the next level. So the difference between the stressor and the master is the stressor continues to do the same thing many times over and over, or they go just do a lot of other activity in order to make sure that they just stay busy. They're busy for busy's sake. The master does it elegantly. They find ways to get to the next thing. Remember our 4 steps to achieving any result, the ultimate success formula: know your outcome, take massive action, have sensory acuity, see if you're acutely sensitive, and find out whether or not you're getting closer to your goal or further away. And then if you're getting further away, change your approach. And we said the way to speed this up was modeling. Well, that's what we're talking about, modeling. Whatever result you want to achieve, there's somebody who's done it. So find that person and figure out how to get near them, and then have them help mentor you to where you want to go. Now, how do you get near them? Well, if you read Think and Grow Rich, there's a great story of a guy who wanted to work with Thomas Edison. And so the way that he did that is he showed up at his shop and then went to work for him for free and said, I'm going to go create value for you. And once I do that, then you'll decide that you want to be in business with me. Now, he did end up in business with Thomas Edison. Now, he didn't end up in business in the way he thought he was going to, but he did end up in business with him and was very successful. Colonel Sanders, when he first started with his chicken recipe, he went around to restaurants and he thought that they would be excited about his chicken recipe because it was so good. Well, they had their own chicken recipe. So they said, we don't care. So he said, all right, I'll go work for you. Let me make this chicken. If I increase your sales, then I get a percentage of the increase in sales. If I don't, then you don't owe me anything. As a result, when he was working with these other people, he learned the best of what they knew. Each of these restaurants had mastered different things. They mastered ways to prepare the chicken. They mastered ways to serve things. They all had different expertise that he then gathered. So when he finally opened up his restaurant, he had not only had this great chicken recipe, but he had all of these other systems that he had acquired along the way. So those people got close to masters by offering to work for them for free. A great way to look at it, first of all, you can find coaches and mentors, and there's books that you can just buy the book, or you can just watch videos. But if you really want to get next to the person, figure out what it is that they need and then provide it for them. What is it that they're looking for? Because everybody's looking for something. Everybody needs help in some area. So maybe there's an area that you can help them with that they will then be interested in helping you back. Maybe they have a child that has or a grandchild that has some issue or interest that you can somehow provide for. But don't just show up, knock on the door and say, hey, will you help me? That's nice, and they might. But figure out something that you can do for that person, and then they're going to be even more excited about trying to help you in terms of your journey. So when you're on the path to success, don't waste time any more than you have to. Compress decades into days. And you do that by finding role models and coaches that can help you along the way. You want to find the person that's done it before. Sow the same seeds and you'll get the same results. Have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. It's supposed to be beautiful weather out there. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.